me the food today. Bless everyone that's here and everyone that's away. We just give them guidance and blessings, Lord. In your name we pray.
Amen. My kūpuna was my grandmother. On our property in Keawe, we had 3 ulana trees, and Grandma would weave when she was not busy with other things. My job initially was to gather the leaves, but the tree was cared for in such a way that the leaves hardly ever fell to the ground. We would take it off the tree before it hit the ground. And so I still have that where I prefer to take leaves from the tree rather from the ground. And so the gatherer was me and my brothers, if they weren't being kolohe. I think this Lord will take this. Yeah, that went on for a number of years. And when I was about, well, probably between 9 and 10, Grandma, weaving every day to supplement the family income, decided to guess that I was ready to learn. Because she was a hat weaver. Weaving showed me what she wanted me to do. And that was basically the crown of the pu'uhonua, which is just this part right there. And that's all she would let me do repetitively. Every time I sat down, all I did was the crown. And then several years later, I guess she must have felt that I was doing it well enough that I could learn to do the brim, the Keawe. By the time I was in high school, nearly out of high school, she decided, okay, you can learn to do the very beginning, the piko, and then the pa, the very top of the hat. So by the time I got out of high school, I got that part mastered. But it's still the most difficult part of the entire papali is that piko and pa. Just have to take your time and be sure to do it right, because if it's not correct, it has to come apart and go back to where the error was and then start all over.
Have any of you ladies done bracelets? A while. Okay. That's probably the simplest and the quickest item to do with little time. But it's easy to take it with you.
Back of the knife part, I wanted it with the scissors. By doing what I did, helps you soften it.
Being raised by my grandmother, and when I got married, she told my husband, "You will live with me, with us." So my grandfather and grandmother kept us on, and we lived with them all those years. And then Grandpa passed, my husband passed, and then got all these little guys. That was probably the most difficult part of my life, was when he passed. However, good things come from difficulty. And well, my 4th child passed at the age of 15. But you know, I realized that we are quite resilient, that we can overcome difficulties. All we have to do is work at it. I love this garden. I had a little granddaughter who was probably about 8 at the time. And one of her aunts worked with the Historical Society and picked Kool-Aid from school and brought her over to the garden Kool-Aid just enjoyed being here, that she was here every Wednesday, as much as she could possibly do. She passed at age 12. But she left that legacy behind, and I just felt the need to continue what she had done and just carry on and do as much as possible for the garden because she loved it so much.
Not just the past loss that she's had very recent loss. 3 very close family members, and this woman, I called her, she came stop by, and still is just so strong and just carries a lot of weight and stuff on her back, but you would never have been able to tell, because she just really powers through with her grace and everything, and still with a smile on her face, and still coming to check up on me and the kids and the garden and how things are going, you know. So yeah, she is an amazing, amazing woman.
I believe we all have something to contribute. Up to the day we pass, we have something to contribute. Hopefully it's all good, and if it's not, hopefully whoever we've been nasty to will forgive us. But there oftentimes is something good out of what's bad. It hurts me sometimes when I say we go out to dinner or lunch, and I notice people walk in, sit down, and out comes their phone. They're not talking to each other. And, you know, conversation is so important. Talk about what we're doing and the things that we can share in our everyday life. Put the device down and spend time with each other. Don't make that little device your focal point. The person in front of you should be your focal point.
Amen.
This saddle when I was poor, 1963. It's Makuli, this saddle, yeah. Same speed, same, you know, all bus out, broken down, but we okay.
We okay.
I was brought up on plantation, no girl. Going on plantation, but yet raised up on the ranch was two different like dialect. You know, we have the little Hawaiian or ulana today. So sort of was brought up like that. My uncle, he was top crane operator for the plantation those days. Growing up, he was 6 years old. They moved to Pu'uanahulu. There from Pu'uanahulu, learning about horses. Worked with my dad, uncles, and cousins. My great tutu was Keawe. My grandfather was in, but his brother was Keawe. And then my granduncle was the one that taught my dad how to cowboy. My tutu man, my grandfather made horses for the Hawaiian family, but plow horses. They planted corn in order to take care of the purebreds Makaisai Pu'uanahulu. And he made plow horses, had learned, you know, wagon horses. And then my dad was brought up by his uncle, Keei was my granduncle. We used to walk from Pu'uanahulu down with grandma. We get 7 of us, Mokunas with her, and we walked down like about 5:30, 6 o'clock when we school. We came about 10 o'clock, was halfway down. Grandma would put us inside a puka. We would wait until like 5 o'clock, 5:30, then we continue our trip down to Keoni, where it was much cooler for us. From Keoni, from Pu'uhonua was like 13 miles. I think from Pu'uhonua was like 11 miles. No? When you look with your eye, it looks near. But when you walk with all the haluas, what I mean halua is the halu. The kulapa, the rice, the pahu, the flat. No? We fished down there because we had a local down there, Keoni fish pond. My two men, they the ones started the fish pond down in Keoni. Back in the 1700s, I can't go back as far as that because growing up was there already because everything in Makao was all coral, not concrete. Growing up in Pu'uhonua and Pu'uanahulu, Dad used to haul out cattle, what I mean, haul out sheep cattle out of Keolo. And that's when I was about like, 6, 7, they put me on his shipping horse that he took down to train for pull cattle out into the water. And then he made me swim, sit on the saddle, and they just let the horse feed it. From there, I started drinking salt water. I let her go to pahu and started swimming back inside. But he knew all the current would just take my backside inside, so everything was okay. That's how I learned. We hunt, we fish, we work all together, no? Back in 1975 was 225,000 acres. They ran about like 50,000 head of cattle. That's all, mother cow, bull battle, marketing and everything. Horses, they ran about like almost 600 head of horses back in those days. We had about 30 cowboys, 30 to 40. I worked for Richard Smart and ride for Park Ranch Brand. Yeah, this P on my hat. The nice part, he took care of us. I worked for them, man. I was sending Kaupiko, I was sending Kohala, and then I ended up Makahalau, Mana Division for 19 and a half years. And I stayed out there, and everything was all like how Richard wanted the ranch to be run. Everybody that we worked together those years really loved what we did. I mean, from the heart. And, I can name you some good names that, that we worked together. The old timers, those were the old guys. Walter Steven, Carly Steven, two brothers. One, Carly Steven, Mana, Walter Steven, Moku. They were the supervisors. And then Yoshikawa Moro Kohala. They were the lulas. What I mean lulas that time in Hawaiian. They were the foundation. We were like the pillars, the follows, the ohanas, like I said, the aslan, the kanihos, the yamaguchis, all. Plenty Japanese family, plenty Portuguese family, the quintals, all the nobregas. They were good cowboys. It was just Hawaiian cowboy. But one Portuguese cowboy, Filipino, was all put together as paniolo, no?
Working as a cowboy, you don't make a lot of money. So, a sense of appreciation, second to none, was how he raised us. We heard these words uttered from as far back as I can remember as a child, mahalo ika mea loa. And that means to appreciate what you have.
Everybody enjoyed it. And then we shared, BS, we pahana, we drink beer. Hey, buddy, do this. We brand, or we know, when we drive. Everything was, work together, And then when I came, everything in Hawaii. Henry Hassan, Jiro Yamaguchi, Walter, Oi Kulai, knock down, Oi Kaula, you can rope, you don't go rope the calf pull to the fight. Oi Okilau, you could castrate. Oi Kun, you would brand. Oi Lao, you would inoculate the calves. Yeah. Grandmother was our language, they were our tongue. Chile grandmother was our family kid. Chile was our pay our kid, you got pay him. She go tell you, and something, make cake. Beautiful when I say that. Everybody's so custom we pay our wife, my kind. But when I say, Pe'emine ke, oe mau. See, as another Hawaiian word say, I'm okay. Oe mau means that how we left the last time, and we like this again, and we share it exactly the same. Pe'emine, oe mau. See, oe mau is more beautiful. It's more contact, more connection, you know, more that when you see and thank you, you know. Say, likupu means same like her. That's one of our old tradition that people will share like that, and I tell them, as you connect, no? You connecting from the heart, you know. And then when you answer, it's how you receive and accept, no? And then in the end, we all appreciate each other, because tomorrow another day, if no happen, I don't know. But every day we make sure that our words that we connect.
Legacy is aloha aina, and that word is so apparent today, used everywhere, which is good, and it should be. But the way he teaches us and continues to teach us and have taught us, I think again is that succession to know your aina in a way. What we say, what they say, ma'a, helea ma'a. You become so accustomed to your aina, your land, your ocean. You love it. You aloha aina. You look at it. You feel for it deeper. You see it beyond this beautiful beach. We're able to see places that you never even know existed. To ride deep into the kohalas and be above the valleys of like Honokane Nui, Honokane Iki, and you're kind of looking out and down to them, and the ocean is outside of that. The vantage points that we were afforded.
When I come down by Pu'uiki, and then when I look at and see Homage, Mauna Loa, and Ikaika Bia Mauna Kea, and then when I stay right on Ola, it just shows everything there, you know. It's right there. You ever drove up on this Koala mountain, and they got that mountain before you reach, you turn up, you know, clearly just park, and you just look and you see the huts right there, no? And you think, oh wow, I get to be all on this place. I can be on Makulapa, which means a high rise, and I can look down. When I walk up Keawe, I look down, I can see Waimea. I can see down quite high. I look onto, I can see all the way might be Waikoloa. That's something that the people every day that you thankful you can see. If I walk in the back of the mountain, Kumula coming out to Hawaii, Pukala, then I can look down, I see Hilo, all the way outside towards Keawe, no?
Dad affords us these opportunities to aloha aina in that way, to not just know that pu'u, perhaps by its name. Oh yes, you know its name, but you know who and what that pu'u is, because your body has physically been on it. You have seen the dirt from it. You have ridden down that steep slope. You know how steep Pu'uhonua actually is because you're on the back of your horse coming down. So that kind of aloha aina was to know your places like that. And know them intimately, beyond their name, right? You look deeper into the name. Why that place named that? Why Kalaimano named Kalaimano? Make sure you know why. That these are treasures. What was handed to me by him and by others are these gems, like precious gems that need to be tended to and cared for as they need to be, as they should be. So when I pass that forward, you're going to assume this in the same way, that it is a treasure, and you got to care for it in a manner that it deserves. A clear and direct path is there for you to tread. Much is at stake, my brothers, my sisters, my children. Much will be lost if we but turn our cheek to assuring succession. I can but hope that these words of mine have potentially made aware in our consciousness that the children we raise today will someday become the kūpuna.
When I screwed up, he made me walk home, like from here, and we lived like 7 miles away, and I was in 2nd grade. You know, I can run away real easy. He's in a wheelchair. Mom, come here, grab that. No. I jumped in the car, and he grabbed my shirt. Okay, it's outside, you're walking. He throws me outside the car. What? And he goes, follow me. And he drives on the side of the road all the way to Chong Street.
I still work like I did 40 years ago. I fix fence, I can shoot posts in the ground. I'm only 90 years old. I know what I did 40 years ago. Not easy though. You can find ways to put a post in the ground. Before you would lift the post up, dig a hole, lift the post up, turn it around. Now it takes you half a day to dig 1 hole before you dig 20.
The thing about shopping way back then is because you only get to go to the market maybe once a month, you really stocked up on everything. So to be able to get Spam, lucky Spam, corned beef, that was another item. And then rice by the bags full, 100-pound bags. You can't find 100-pound bags anymore, especially in those flour sack type bags.
I moved to Honolulu with my older sister. I wanted to go on the beach play. Be a beach boy, kind of like surf, swim, and all that. So that's what I did. When I met my wife, then I wanted to get out of Honolulu. Then I brought her here. And she kind of liked the place, you know, so she was okay.
This is my working there when I was working for quite a long time. But I can share with you guys. There's one dish over there. You got Mauna Kea dirt on top, Turalde dirt, Mauna Loa. Mauna Kea and Kohala dirt on top, you know. So every place I work, the dust like down South Point is there on top here, you know. All the way outside, you know, Kapapala, or out down, you know, Kohala, Hawaiian, Panika, or down Moku. At least get something come on with me, you know.
You know, like, we're just like a very small crew for that whole production, and we had very little time to kind of put it together. We had not really funding.
That was beautiful.
We just kind of buoyed up, and everything felt right, and it had to come from here in order for us to tell the stories of our kūpuna. And it really inspired me to get out there and talk to our kūpuna and learn something new from them, something that we can pass down to our grandkids and our kids at some point in time. So, out of our very small crew of 4 or 5 people, I think the photographers, the directors, the editors, each and every one of them had some kind of takeaway from this. That was my takeaway. But just to see, like, my coworkers, the people people that I'm working alongside, long days, long nights, we're out shooting, we're super tired, and for them just to really grasp what we're trying to do, to tell the stories of our kūpuna, just really makes me cry. So I just encourage you out there, you know, and if your kūpuna has passed away, if you are a kūpuna, you know, talk to your kūpuna and, you know, pass something down, some kind of ike or some kind of talent or something. Mahalo for staying to the end. Anybody has any questions that I can help answer or anything? As always, you guys can look us up. We're on the internet. It's Hometown Legends Hawaii. We're also on Instagram and Facebook. Hometown Legends. We are working on our season 2. It is not on this island. I don't want to give away too much, but follow us. This next one's going to be really great. Mahalo for coming. Everyone, HRC. We hope to meet you.
Thank you very much.